Welcome to another episode of Let's Chat With. Joining me is Los Angeles-based female magician Elizabeth Messick, the Siren of Magic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Good morning, good afternoon to you. Yeah, this is the first thing I'm doing today, so
Well,
pardon me if
thank
I
you.
seem morningy.
Well, thank you anyways for joining me.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So you live in Los Angeles. So what's the California pandemic been like for you and your magic?
Oh wow, that is a heavy question, but it's a good one. So I was a web developer when the pandemic started. I was still a magician, but I was working like 12-hour days. I was working weekends. I didn't have any time for magic. I was actually quite depressed as well because I had to work so much, and my magic was going so well in 2020 that I was about to quit my job to pursue it full time. And then obviously the pandemic happened and my gigs got canceled. And instead I had to work as a web developer even more. And I had to because, there were it was like hard to find jobs, and I couldn't just quit and get unemployment because you can't get unemployment if you quit a job. You have to be let go or fired. Um, so yeah, I was depressed for a while, as most of us were. And then towards like the end of 2020, I got back on my horse and started doing magic again virtually. I got invited to do a show in Beverly Hills that was virtual, but it was on a stage. So it was really nice to be back on a stage again, even though it was virtually. And now that we're in 2021, we're still in the pandemic, but after, getting our COVID shots, I got my booster, and people wearing masks and everything, I'm able to perform on stage again, and it's been so amazing. And I actually ended up quitting my full-time day job to pursue this full-time, and it's been working. I'm now like an elementary school after school magic teacher.
Oh, very
Um,
nice.
I'm getting booked all the time for things, so I feel very thankful. And yeah, the COVID really had me thinking about my life and what I truly wanted to do, and I didn't want to waste time doing something I didn't love. And I'm happy that I'm able to have access to performing again. And I don't know how long this is going to last. We could have another outbreak. So for now, I'm, yeah, very thankful.
You did a magic COVID PSA. Can you explain that to us?
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was
Yeah, how did
in
it come
my
about?
time of depression. I just, well, I had a cousin who died of COVID, and it was just making me so angry seeing people not wear masks or not respecting the 6 feet apart distance, because it's a real COVID is a real thing. And so I thought maybe doing a fun little magic trick to kind of demonstrate how COVID can spread would be a little bit light hearted and fun, but also educational. And yeah, I actually had forgotten that I did that. When I don't like watching that video because it reminds me of how depressed I was. But I'm happy that it's there because it also reminds me of where I am at now in my mental health. And since then I got a therapist and stuff like that. But yeah, so it was just meant to be educational, lighthearted, and fun. It
So,
made a lot of people mad though. A lot of anti-maskers mad.
so how did you get started in magic?
I so there's two parts to that question. I started when I was 9 years old. I was we moved around a few times. I went to different schools, and I was very shy as a little kid. I was super eccentric and weird, but every time I went to a new school, I got shy because I had anxiety. And so my friends were characters in storybooks like Harry Potter and Matilda, and I really was drawn to the worlds of magic. And my parents bought me a Lance Burton magic kit, and I would perform magic for my friends and family at parties and stuff like that, that we have some videos, and I actually have a sign from when I was a kid of my magic, like Elizabeth's magic show, you know, and my aunt actually has it framed in this shadow box. It's really cute. So I did that from about ages 9 to 12. But I really was like a bit of an outcast, and people would make, you know, kids are mean, and they poke fun at anything, and they would poke fun at the fact that I would do magic, and I didn't like that, so I quit magic, and I just continued singing. I've been singing my entire life. So I sang, I was in bands from the time I was 16. I was in about 10 bands. And so music was my life. I moved to LA when I was about 23 years old. And at 24, I went to the Magic Castle and saw the magic all around me. And I was like, wait, people do this for a living? This is awesome. And I felt so welcome in that community that night, that I decided to use the money that I had saved up to record an album. I instead used that money to take magic classes, and I have not looked back since. And I instead incorporate my singing into my magic, so I have both. Yeah, so now I'm here, and I'm very happy that magic found me again.
You have studied around the world in places like London and Paris. What was that like?
Oh, it was interesting. So I had this mentor named Babel, who he came here. He's an incredibly talented magician. He came here a couple times to perform at the Magic Castle, and I would have him stay at my apartment in exchange for magic lessons. And I would sleep on people's couches and stuff. Like, he would literally stay at my apartment. I don't have an extra room. I was just like, oh, I don't have money to pay for magic lessons. So yeah, we'll just do this exchange and I'll figure out a way to sleep. And then I ended up visiting him in Paris, and he showed me like all around, and like how he did his gigs. He took me to this underground gig, which was really cool. And we would sit at coffee shops until super late at night. And he doesn't really speak English, and I don't really speak French. So it was a very interesting experience, because we spoke in the language of magic. Um, and we both speak a bit of Spanish, so we were kind of speaking in Spanish to each other, but it was very difficult to communicate. But yeah, I learned from him, and he was a tough teacher, but I ended up passing my Magic Castle audition to because of his teaching. It was really great. And then in London, I didn't go to learn magic. I went because my sister was, well, initially I didn't go to learn magic. I went because my sister got married in England, and I was sleeping in my parents' bathroom when we were staying in England, because I didn't have money. The story of my life. So I was sleeping in the bathroom, and then I went to the magic circle, and there was this woman named Faye Presto who was giving a lecture, and I was, you know, one of two girls in the audience, and she spotted me out, and she was like, "You come with me." And we went on like this all night adventure. She had this like really cool VW bus that it was just really cool, and she like drove us around town, took us to the Soho house, and I told her I was sleeping in my parents' bathtub, and she felt really bad for me, and she's just like, "You can stay with me." And so she had this like magical room that came from nowhere. Like the wall turned into a bed, and then like this other wall turned into a nightstand. And it was really magical, and I didn't even know this person, but I trusted her, and she showed me around London. She took me to different magic shops, and she yeah, she made me feel really safe, and she took me to a gig of hers as well, and just showed me around and taught me some really cool stuff. And I'm super thankful. Like, but and also when I went to Sweden, it was because of a magician. So I feel really thankful that I'm able to travel by way of magicians. I wouldn't be able to afford it any other way. So I don't know. They were both such magical experiences, and I learned so much from them. Yeah, I thank them forever.
And thinking of Bay Presto, you are a member of many magical societies like the Women's Magicians Society Association. What is the WMA?
WMA is a group of women magicians. We're a very inclusive group of people, and we're just a support group. And we're, we get together and we talk. We'll show each other magic. We'll share. Sometimes we'll have a guest speaker, teach us something. It's actually been a really great, yeah, it's been a really great support system for me, and hopefully for them as well. I'm very thankful to be part of it. And yeah, we used to meet at the Magic Castle, but like ever since COVID, we meet online.
You said in an episode of LA Unscripted that 10% of the magic population is women. Why do you think that is? And you think the number will ever go up?
And I don't know if that's like I've heard like different percentages here and there. But yeah, the most consistent has been 10%. Hopefully it's more. Um, okay, so you want to know the real reason why I think that?
Yes.
Okay. I think, let me think about this. It's a nice way of saying this. I think, there are a lot more men in magic because magic is an easy way to make, oh my gosh, it's going to sound so mean, but magic is an easy way to make people feel powerful. And I know a lot of men, not all, a lot of men who have like big egos, but they're insecure. And I feel like magic is an easy way to gain control pretty fast. And so I don't know, I've experienced this like as a woman in magic. I've experienced very major big egos, and like I've seen people get upset because of, you know, women's success or something like that. But yeah, and I know a lot of women who see magic as a way of sharing, it's just a beautiful way of sharing. And it was, I mean, when I was younger, it was hard for me to want to continue being a magician because it was so looked down upon, because it was like a man's thing, and still even to this day I have these sometimes egotistical men wanting to push me away, pushing me down, gaslighting me, making me feel bad about myself. And yeah, I think that might be a factor. That's at least in my experience. But there are so many men who are allies, and I'm so thankful for the community. But but yeah, my opinion is it's the people with big egos who can't handle other people's success. It's just not, yeah, I've wanted to quit a few times because of certain egos.
What advice would you give women who want to get into magic?
um what advice would I would just say, keep pushing through, keep doing it. Whatever things you hear, very negative things, in one ear out the other, in one ear out the other, shrug it off. you know Magic is supposed to be a way of um connecting with people, a way of sparking imagination and creativity, so keep doing it. If you have the bug, keep going for it. You can always talk to me, but I just know that you are awesome and you are special, and don't let anyone get in your way. And just keep practicing. Practice, 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 practice. Practice makes perfect. Well, practice makes not perfect, but practice makes better.
You have done performances with celebrities. What was it like performing alongside acts like Snoop Dogg, Reggie Watts, and Paris Hilton?
Oh, it's fun. I introduced Snoop Dogg and Paris Hilton, and I got very excited. Yeah, good.
If you weren't performing magic, what would you be doing?
I would be singing. Well, yeah, I mean, that I am still singing, but yeah, I would be singing. Or do you mean like if I weren't doing a performance based
Yeah,
something?
if you weren't doing performance.
Um, I probably, let's see. I mean, I was a web developer. Maybe I'm trying to think of probably a teacher, honestly. I love teaching
You sing during some of your magic shows. Why is that?
because I absolutely love singing.
Have you ever considered working with Cassandra, the songstress of magic, who is also a singer, a magician?
I love her. She's a good friend. I would love to work with her. Yes, I would love to sing with her. Specifically, like I think harmonizing with her would be so fun.
You have done some acting as well. Tell me about being a guest on the Obama-produced Netflix cartoon show called Ada Twist Scientist. How did that come about?
It came about because of a friend of mine, Allie Ward. She reached out to me, and I didn't know what the project was at all, but I trusted her because everything she does is magic. Well, I mean, she's in the science world, but everything she does is magic. She's true magic. And yeah, she reached out to me and she was like, "Would you like to do this project?" I had no idea what it was, but I was like, "Yes." And then much later, I found out it was an Obama produced thing, and it was so much fun. And it was cool because I got to really play myself, um, like a heightened version of myself, which is always really fun. And I love doing stuff for children, especially. So.
And you said earlier that you are an after-school magician teacher. What's that like?
Oh, it's great. I absolutely love teaching children and it's really rewarding. It's a little difficult at times, because kids sometimes don't want to pay attention, especially for when it's after school, but it's absolutely rewarding and so much fun.
What's the response been like from parents and stuff like that, seeing you teach their kids magic?
This is a newer job, so I actually haven't really met the parents or anything like that, but maybe I'll find out a little later.
So where do you see yourself in a couple of years from now with your magic and singing and performances?
I am actually working on pitching a TV show. Um, yeah. So I'm hoping to sell it, and I see myself working on that TV show, which just includes everything that I love, like voice acting, singing, magic, uh, kids stuff. Yeah. So I'm
So,
hoping to do that.
so you're also a voice actor. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done?
Yeah, so I voice acting is a little bit newer for me. I have been taking many a classes in it, but I have been so successful as a magician that I actually kind of put voice acting on the back burner a little bit. But I'm hoping to get back to it. I love it so much, and I've used it in like friends projects and stuff like that. I've done it on like a friend's podcast. So I haven't done too much of it, but I absolutely love it and hope to get back into it some more.
How do you feel about more women performing on shows like uh, Ma- uh, Penn and Teller Fool Us and uh, and stuff like shows like those?
I mean, the more women, the better, honestly. Most of my magician friends are women, and they're the best. I mean,
Have you,
men are cool too, but
have you ever considered going on one of those shows?
Actually, yes. I got approached by some people, and I'm in the talks of potentially doing something, maybe.
So finally, besides your website, sirenofmagic.com, where can people find you on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook?
They can find me on Instagram at Siren of Magic.
Okay, so thank you, Elizabeth, for joining me today on this episode of Let's Chat With.
Thank you so much. It was lovely meeting you.